In this video, I'm going to tell you what kind of questions you're going to see on the SAT Math section and how you can best create a study plan. So, you're probably in your third or fourth year of high school, starting to think about college, and you know you're going to have to take the SAT if you want to apply just about anywhere. If you don't know where to start with studying, a good place is to just see what it is you're going to have to learn. So, let's take a look at the math section of the SAT. The math section is going to give you 80 minutes to answer a total of 58 questions. 20 of these will be without a calculator, and 38 will be with one. So, you will have about 1 minute and 20 seconds to answer each question. This isn't a lot of time to answer a question, but don't worry. Most SAT math is about learning the rule or trick to quickly answer the question. This means that this is a test that can be learned. This information alone could already be making you a little concerned, so let's take a look at the categories of questions. First, we have the heart of algebra. Next, we have problem solving and data analysis. Third is passport to advanced math. And finally, we have a category called additional topics in math. Let's take a look into each one. Starting with the heart of algebra, we have some of the foundational topics in math. These are skills you likely learned in late middle school and early high school. If you read through the list of topics covered here, you will see that they mostly deal with linear equations and functions. So, this section is all about learning about how a variable and constant work, with some algebraic solving mixed in. To prepare for this section, you want to make sure you can solve equations with one variable and understand the meaning of a linear equation. Moving on to what I think is a slightly harder category is problem solving and data analysis. This section draws on your ability to interpret data and perform operations with different representations of data. As the title of this category suggests, we have two main types of problems here. The first involves answering questions about data in some kind of graph, and the second is answering questions about more raw data in numerical form. The two keys to excelling in this category are understanding visual representations of data and knowing the formulas for ratios, rates, percents, and statistical values. This section often gives you information in one format and asks you for the answer in another, so it is important to know how you can convert information. Now moving to another higher level category is advanced math. Here you will see problems asking about nonlinear equations, like quadratics and radicals. These questions are similar to those in the heart of algebra section, but they contain equations that are a little bit more difficult to work with. In this section, it is crucial to know quadratic equations inside and out. This means how to factor them, how to graph them, and how to represent them in different forms. The last and most obscure category is additional topics in math. This category represents only 10% of the questions you will see on the test. Here we mostly deal with shapes in the form of geometry and trigonometry. You may also see some questions about complex numbers. This section is all about knowing rules when it comes to angles. You need to know about triangles, circles, and trigonometric values. This section, more than others, tends to more pointedly rely on just knowing the rules. Now that we've looked at all the different categories we'll see on the exam, let's pull back. How should we study all of this? First, it's important to know that the first three categories, the heart of algebra, problem solving and data analytics, and passport to advanced math, represent 90% of the SAT math section. So, this is where you should start and invest most of your time. Next, you need to sharpen up a couple of key math skills. These include basic math operations, solving equations algebraically, working with linear and quadratic equations, and working with ratios in different forms. You're going to need these skills to attack the problems on the test. Being competent in them, however, does not guarantee success. Lastly, and most importantly, you need to practice problems and learn the tricks. Learning the tricks is the key to excelling at the SAT. The SAT is not a normal math test. It doesn't ask you to solve for a variable or perform an operation. The focus is to use math skills to think through a problem. While this is the intent of the test, it usually means that the test makers want you to identify some kind of relationship in the problem. When you see this relationship, it allows you to simplify the problem and solve it more quickly. Trying to think through the problem and perform real analysis can be tricky and time-consuming. Instead, you want to know the trick and use it to quickly find the answer. The SAT is about answering questions the easiest and quickest way possible. This is important, so I will say it again. The SAT is not about just answering questions correctly. It's about answering questions the easiest and quickest way possible. Here on this channel, I provide free SAT prep, problems, and tricks to help everyone get prepared for the test. If you're preparing for an upcoming test, subscribe to be notified when I post new content that can help you get the best score possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.